Well, it would seem we're not just getting our first black samurai in an Assassin's Creed game, but we are also getting our first LGBTQ characters in an Assassin's Creed game. So that's something to take away from all this. Let's get into it. Well, hey everybody, welcome back. And it's really funny, I just saw this thing about Suicide Squad, and it is just baffling to me that this game was so expensive and so poorly made that it actually caused Warner Brothers to come out and issue a statement saying that the game was a massive disappointment. I'm talking for David Zaslav, who is in charge of Warner Brothers, to come out and actually admit that this game was a failure after everything he has done to try to stop the bleeding over there. And I know he's not perfect, but he has cut and slashed funding to so many different things just to try to stem the bleeding. And this game is just like a massive eyesore in spite of all those attempts. And the ironic part about it is now we have this article over here on Kotaku pointing out that the Suicide Squad remaining players are rewarded with ugly Arkham skins. And Veridark tweeted it out, and it's pretty hilarious. She's like, just when you thought Suicide Squad killed the Justice League couldn't get worse, now the 5 dedicated players left are being insulted. And you got to look at these things. These are absolutely horrific looking outfits. I don't know who in God's name would want to play this game. You see the Joker here that they added in the DLC with this horrifyingly awful outfit. I mean, all of this looks like trash. But again, this is what you get when you work with companies like Sweet Baby Inc. Sweet Baby Inc. is by far one of the most notable, but not the only game consultation firms out there that preaches inclusivity and activism and, you know, increasing diversity and representation in these games. But it seems that they do have like a very far-reaching effect where anything that they touch just seems to lose money. Even games like Alan Wake 2, God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, these games were so expensive, so bloated with excess cost, partly because of things like game consulting companies, that it has caused them to lose massive amounts of money on these games, even to the point where I think Spider-Man 2 hasn't broken even yet. I know Alan Wake 2 hasn't quite broken even yet, last I saw. So again, that is just where we're at with this. Now, I know the intro teased the LGBTQ stuff in Assassin's Creed, and the reason we're mentioning any of this to begin with is because Assassin's Creed Shadows reportedly does have involvement from Sweet Baby Inc. And at least it's been shown that Kim Belair, who used to work at Ubisoft, this is where she really got her start before she became the co-founder and CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., has been spotted at the Ubisoft headquarters with their wonderfully large group of feminist female employees that are working there, which of course has, you know, trickled down into the effect it has on all these games with this narrative drive to make it more of a representative, demographic for modern audiences and all that crap. Even though a lot of these this is the thing about Assassin's Creed. I know a lot of people have pointed to the whole idea that they're not historically accurate, and that is true. But the thing about it is, there's always been a sense of historical accuracy in terms of the architecture, in terms of the characters that you interact with, the story of what's going on in each country and each nation and conflicts at the time, for pretty much every one of the games in the series. So for them to take this idea where they always have historical accuracy as far as like the events going on around the protagonist, where you're kind of witnessing all these historical events happening, and then to focus where they take this character, the first time they used a historical character for the assassin, but to overinflate his importance, it's just, you can see the messaging right there. This is the message personified. And of course, you have not only him, the Black Samurai, but of course the female assassin, the ninja character. And I've seen some people point out that she's not exactly very feminine. You know, personally, I'm playing through Hellblade 2. I don't mind if a character's not super done up with makeup and feminized and all that kind of stuff, as long as they still look like a woman. That's cool. It's whatever, especially with Hellblade 2. The actress, the motion capture actress, still resembles the person in the game. So I don't have any qualms with that. But now we're seeing these little dog whistles here that we're getting from Ubisoft, seemingly preparing us for LGBTQ representation in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, again, I will say right off the bat, if they do something to make this Yasuke character not only the first black protagonist, not black, there's been black protagonists in the game series, but the black samurai in the first appearance in Japan for the series, and then also make him gay, I'm going to laugh my ass off. This game is already having a hard time with PR as it is. Sure, there's a record number of pre-sales, but there's plenty of games that have a record number of pre-sales, and then they don't get any follow-up purchases down the road. They need people to buy this game consistently over the next 6 months to actually turn a profit. So this article here from That Park Place points out that Assassin's Creed Shadows developer Ubisoft appeared to confirm that the game's two main protagonists, Yasuke and Naoe, are LGBTQ characters. In a blog post on the company's website published on May 15th, the company declared, Naoe and Yasuke's disparate personalities also lead them to have different relationships and rapports with other characters, and they don't always feel the same about people, nor do people always feel the same about them. Next, they discussed romance options. Romantically, they will also attract and be attracted to different types of people. Through the pair, players will get to experience a multitude of relationships. Now, I'm going to pause right there because personally, when I played through the Assassin's Creed games years ago, and I stopped after I finished Unity, I don't remember there being Witcher 3-like, Fable-like character relationship options. As far as I remember, if there were relationships in the game, they were pre-written and scripted in the game where you had to have a certain relationship, for the story to progress. It wasn't like you had options about who to hook up with in the game. So this article goes on saying this revelation comes amid Ubisoft contracting with Dartmouth Associate Professor Sashi Schmidt-Hori. She is an LGBTQ activist with her biography on Dartmouth's website reading, I am interested in investigating how gender, sexuality, corporeality, and power are represented and negotiated in pre-17th century Japanese narratives and illustrations. That's a mouthful. My first book, Tales of Idolized Boys, Male-Male Love in Medieval Japanese Narratives, is on medieval Chigo Monogatari, which is a Buddhist acolyte tale, which often depict romantic relationships between Buddhist priests and adolescent boys. These tales challenge a host of normative and moral standards we academics especially internalize, including such ideas as sexual orientation, transgenerational sex, and sexual agency. That just to me sounds like somebody who's trying to normalize relationships with underage people. That's just my take. It continues, my current project is on the literary representations of milk kinships in pre-17th Japanese tales. I don't want to know what that is, including the tale of Ochi Kubo, the tale of Genji, the tales of Heike. The website also reveals the classes she teaches, introduction to Japanese culture, language and scripts of gender, class and nations, gender, sexuality, and power in pre-modern Japan, classical Japanese language grammar. I think you guys get the idea. Of note, the official description from the publisher of Tales of Idolized Boys, Male-Male Love, University of Hawaii Press, reveals Schmidt-Hori calls for a shift in the hermeneutic strategies applied to Chigo and Chigo Monogatari and puts forth both a nuanced historization of social constructs such as gender, sexuality, age, and agency, and a mode of reading propelled by curiosity and again, this just sounds like pedo-sympathizing to me. Again, I'm not making any accusations, but that's all this sounds like. Now, if you combine this with what we're seeing where they actually have had these, like, for example, we'll go to Packer Girl here on Twitter, these tweets that they've deleted, we have this blog post talking about where they're going to have multitude of relationships, and a deleted post from somebody involved in the game where it says, Yas is such a badass, talking about Yasuke. Can't wait for you to see his soft romantic side, though. I want to know who this man, this 6-foot-tall black man who was a slave, reportedly, as far as we know historically, that was brought to Japan, was only there in servitude for 15 months, and never really retained the rank of a full-fledged samurai, because to become a samurai, it's not just wearing a suit of armor and learning how to fight. There's a whole social structure that you can look it up. It's not just, oh yeah, I'll just do 6 months of training and become a samurai. It's not. It's a social class, essentially. I want to know who he supposedly hooks up with or has his romantic side with. But this is from the Assassin's Creed Shadows production manager, and the tweet has now been deleted. You've got Romanian V here, saying, people said this game will suck ass, and Ubisoft may have took it literally. Neon over here says, but bears. I want to know if you can have sex with a bear. A polar bear in feudal Japan. Shut up. Were you there? How do you know there weren't any polar bears? I think this is a perfect summary of what the problem is with this game. Now, this one's here, I don't mean to offend anybody. This one here is a little spicier. It says, Ubisoft has confirmed that the Assassin's Creed Shadows Battle Pass will have an unlockable George Floyd skin, and somehow somebody put George Floyd's face on Yasuke, and it's terrifyingly good. I will say, it's from Papa Uwu on Twitter. Go look it up for yourself. This is very impressive modding, I must say. So to kind of like ice this cake and get this video ended, because I know this is getting a little lengthy here, look at the Assassin's Creed official teaser trailer, the world premiere on YouTube. We are up to 274,000 upvotes to 649,000 dislikes, okay? That is a almost 3-to-1 ratio, and a lot of times this dislike plugin, this extension you can add here on Chrome, isn't even accurate. Sometimes it's far higher than what you can see. Compare that from a video that came out 7 days ago to the like-dislike ratio for Elden Ring's story trailer just came out, I believe, yesterday. 226,000 upvotes to only 1.3 thousand dislikes. Absolutely insane. People are not just hating on every video game for the sake of hating on it. There's a reason that people are saying enough is enough with this kind of crap. It's because people are sick and tired of the woke BS in their games. It's the same that we've seen with movies in Hollywood. We've talked a lot about this, about Star Wars, Doctor Who. People are just getting burned out on the message being pumped into everything they see. And unfortunately, companies like Sweet Baby Inc. in the video game industry are the #1 driving force, on top of BlackRock and Vanguard with the ESG agenda, with that diversity push where they're pushing that on the companies, and the companies are operating at a loss just to get that ESG money, which is why we see things like this. It's why we see things like Yasuke, and it's not that Yasuke himself wasn't a real person, but it's just that unfortunately so much of this conversation about it, it's being artificially pumped up by people on Twitter who are just trying to use the appearance of this man to say, you're a racist if you don't like it. If you don't like the fact that a Japanese samurai is no longer featured in a game about assassins who are in Japan, but we're going to use this black man here instead, that somehow makes you a bigot. But again, I think that this is just a small example of a very large issue that we're seeing across the board, not just in games, but in journalism, in media, in news, in entertainment, in pop culture, in politics. This transcends every form of entertainment and in any form of social media and communication. We are just seeing this message, this overwhelming DEI push across the board, and people are just over it. Anyways, guys, appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you check out Meta PCs down below. We've got a great sponsorship with them, and link down below will get you a nice little deal. There's a code down below as well. Make sure to check them out. We will catch you on the next one. All right, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.